Hello, St. Louis. Welcome to OnSTL.com.
The IRS knows him as John Schmee, but the rock and roll world knows him as Schmee.
And
if you've ever been...
I discovered him.
You discovered
yes,
him?
I discovered
If you ever been
him.
to a major rock concert in St. Louis, this man probably was backstage doing something like blowing things up. And
Yeah, he's been everywhere.
Schmee,
everywhere
welcome.
you are.
Hey, how
were,
you doing,
he
Ryan?
was.
Good to see you again.
we've
glad to see
actually,
you again, Joy.
Nice to
it's
see
been
you.
a long time. He's been around since like 75 or so, back then
75.
during our Casey days.
And always be like, what were you, a roadie or a sound light guy? I mean, what do you call yourself?
I was a production manager at Contemporary. I was a promoter rep, which at that time was a production manager, where you had to know everything from rigging to how many KVs are out in a generator to everything. Production manager sets everything up.
And did you go to school for that, or did you just learn it on the job?
Well, now actually, it's funny you say that, because there are universities that are offering
And
degrees,
they do
such
teach,
as
right,
down
yeah.
in Springfield, Missouri. They have one too. Mine was learn how to do it on the road and learn it fast and quick.
Well, you started with bands, though, right?
Yes, I did. I started out with Pure Prairie League.
Pure Prairie League.
I was going to college at the University of Central Missouri, which changed their name too. And I had to leave school at the time because I was running out of money, and I was having a party across the street. Pure Prairie League was playing across the street. I got bored with my party. I went over, started helping them. And the next thing I know, I ran away and joined the circus.
How about
Basically,
that?
yeah.
And it really
Wow.
is. I tell people.
You worked
yeah.
with Leonard Skinner as well.
Yes, I did. After Pure Prairie League, I went to Leonard Skinner for a couple of months, and I was starting to head back to St. Louis, and that's when the plane accident happened, and that's how I ended up at Contemporary Productions here in St. Louis.
Well, did you go out to Leonard Skinner and say, hey, can I have a job, or did they find you and bring
We were opening
discover
up
you?
for them. We were finishing up with Pure Prairie League, and they said, hey, we got an opening. Nowadays, you got a Tech 1, Tech 2, Tech 3 on lighting, Tech 1. Wow. Same thing on sound. Back then, you had a sound guy, you had a light guy, and then you had other people that helped both of them out, would drive the Winnebagos,
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
You watch Almost Famous, that pretty much shows you what it was like in the 70s.
Then you
and
got into
80s.
pyro. Now, how did that happen?
Tom DeWillie, who invented Lunatech Pyro Pack, which was the indoor pyro company, they're the ones that invented indoor pyro. And Tom's a St. Louis boy, but he had moved to, where was it? He moved to Alabama. Anyhow, well, when he first did our first major show, it was a stadium show, and it was at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Well, he didn't have a federal license. And to my degree work, I was in pre-law and industrial safety. I happen to have an alcohol, tobacco, and firearms license.
Once again.
This
And
guy right here on my wallet.
and they asked me about it, and this is pre-fax stage. This is where a fax took an hour to do one page.
Mm-hmm.
I go, I've got one of those from college, because I remember, well, what will I do with this? And I called up my wife. I said, read me the number off of it. They gave me the number. I gave it to the feds. They looked at it and said, okay, have fun doing pyro.
Wow.
Well, Tom, who had just invented Lunatech, said, thank you so much. So he sent me all this equipment. And I'm like, well, how do I do this? So for about a month, I'm blowing stuff up in my backyard, and I got a call from the ambush saying, hey, we need you to do this.
Let's drop some names, though. Some of the bigger shows you did pyro for, or some of the bigger shows you were production manager for.
Oh, my God. Okay, when Beyonce and Destiny's Child was just starting out, we're the ones, Police Productions, which is out in St. Charles, Brad Garrett, Denise Garrett, they came to them and said, we need a boot camp. We'd like pyro, too. And they go, oh, do we have a guy for you? So I went out as their production manager and went out as their pyro technician. I took an extra guy to my company that shot the pyro, and they fell in love with it. And they're like, oh, we got to have that all the time now. And they do
So
have it all the
now,
time.
just about everybody who's anybody wants to have pyro on their show.
I
Now, what
want
does
to have
cost?
it. Can we have a little right here?
What does it cost for one night of pyro? I mean, for a really good show.
Well, okay, a really good night show. If you're going into the gas flame projectors and everything like that, it can cost you upward of $12,000.
How about
one
like
night.
the
Amazing.
Super Bowl when they shoot off on
That's
the,
about $10,000.
Yeah.
I can tell you when I did the Rams, those shows cost about $5,000 just for the
Just for
opening
one,
of the
yeah.
Rams. You know,
And
but
so-
you're looking
okay.
at most of that's insurance and all the other
Right.
little
Oh,
ancillary.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
New
Yeah.
eyebrows, the whole thing. So
But I have all my fingers.
Now, when
So-
you were working with Contemporary, you had Kiel Auditorium, you had the Arena,
Yeah.
you had the American Theater, the Ambassador Theater. Of all those places, were some more of a challenge than others for production?
Oh, man, you had to ask that question. St. Louis was one of the most horrible places to put on a concert.
Really?
No kidding.
Why?
As far as buildings. Buildings back then weren't built like they are now. They weren't built for concerts.
Now, how about the Fox Theater now that it's rebuilt? You do stuff there now,
fabulous.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
the Fabulous Fox did it great. I mean, they did it right. They had their grid right.
Did you ever have anything fall on anybody or anything?
Joey wants to
Yeah,
blood.
yeah.
Blood
Actually,
and gore.
we were
We
working
can't
at
have
a
a fire
family.
here.
We were working at Family Arena, and a trumpet fell off of one of the spotlights. Trumpet's the front part of it that you got the colors in. It fell off of that, landed on a lady that was about 70 years old, and stuck in her leg. And her family's got a lot of money now. That was an accident.
These things
that
happen.
it
Yeah.
happened with the spotlight.
And you're too modest, so you're not saying right now that something is probably true. Just about every rock star on the planet has your phone number on their cell phone. You do get calls from them from time to time.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I
how
find
did
that,
you keep your marriage together if you were on the road so much? Weren't you constantly traveling?
Joey, you've been to many parties with Deb, and you probably don't remember this.
Well, let's put it.
Well,
this
he's
way.
gone.
Well, let's put it this way. My first wife was my secretary at Contemporary Productions, and that worked out for about not at all. Then I wasn't looking for anybody and anything like that, and I met my wife, Debbie, and we just got to hit it off really well. You really meet a woman that truly loves you. They're not going to mind if you're out on the road all the time. And I mean, there was my first
Take
anniversary.
him. He never goes anywhere.
He
Never. Never.
She can't get me out of the
He
house.
doesn't fish. He
That's
doesn't.
okay.
We're going to hit the road.
But
Yeah.
I like it. But the thing is that you, when you fall in love with somebody like that, you really get into it. I mean, you really do have a soulmate out there, and that's what
Yeah.
it was. And I mean, our first anniversary was spent in Wichita, Kansas at a Sammy Hagar concert. I had seen my wife for a total of 8 days for my first year of marriage.
That's
Oh, my.
the secret.
That's the
And-
secret. Yeah. Thank you, John. Thanks
Thank
for
you
coming in
so
today.
much, John.
I called him
You're so-
John today.
Yeah, Schmee. He's just been great.
He's allowed to. You are too. I know. I couldn't believe it when I saw the last name on your card. I go, I know her.
Yeah, I'm still around. And a reminder to you that are still around for the 3rd annual Santa on the Loose 5K run. It's happening with the Reindeer on the Loose 100-yard dash, both this Saturday, December 6th, in Webster Groves at Gazebo Park at Big Bend and Old Orchard to benefit the Crisis Nursery in St. Louis, and it starts at 8 a.m.
And it's a good cause.